see that cool down.
Leah, thank you. In the aftermath of this weekend's shootings, trauma-trained experts are here to help you clear some of your thoughts.
Yeah, Bridge Counseling here in Las Vegas is offering free therapy sessions. Joining us today is President and CEO David Roback. David, great to have you with us.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Yes, unfortunate circumstances, obviously, with the 2 mass shootings this weekend, and just so many questions. You know, you sit at home and you get the news, and it's really hard to know how to react. So I know you guys deal a lot with that. What has the reaction typically been like after one of these mass shootings, let alone 2?
So anxiety is one of the big things that we see. People are concerned. People are afraid to walk into a Walmart or to go to a public event, and that's usually the typical kind of thing that they're seeing. But what that represents is undealt with trauma. There's trauma involved. So everybody that was involved in Las Vegas at the time of the shooting locally were victims. And some people got therapy right away. It made sense for them. They were in that immediate population that was shot at. And other people who were service workers nearby, who were ambulance drivers or first responders or any of the volunteers, the thousands of volunteers that were available that night, they're all victims, and they all probably need to consider getting some help.
I was going to say, even if we don't know anyone personally that was involved in the El Paso shooting or in Dayton, or even if you live here in Las Vegas and maybe you don't know anyone. I think most of us know someone who was affected by 1 October, but we still feel the pain of it. It's a very heavy feeling, and even if we don't have a personal experience with it, we may still benefit from counseling, right?
Well, yes, and in fact, these shootings in the this last weekend and before in Gilroy, California, those things trigger our thoughts. They remind us of things, just like smells remind us of things, just hearing it on the news. The same descriptions are being used regularly now in the news, and of course that's triggering what happened to them back almost 2 years ago now.
Now, David, I know you guys, your clinic is allowing people to come in for free and taking walk-in appointments, and I'm assuming that's based off of the 2 shootings that our country is experiencing right now. How do you start to reassure people that it is okay to go out to public places if they're dealing with that kind of emotional stress afterwards?
So I leave that to the professionals. I'm the CEO. I have 50 licensed clinicians, and most of them are trained in trauma care. And so this week is important because it's free to just walk into a group, an open group, and sit in the back room and participate as you want. But then, from going on from there, you can get your individual appointments or group appointments and continue, and it is all free. We have an amazing Department of Justice grant that is making that possible.
It's awesome. And
you don't necessarily have to feel like you're have a mental illness or something like that to benefit from counseling again, right? I mean, you can just go in there and have a conversation. Like, let's kind of break down some of that stigma associated with getting therapy.
Well, let's think about what is mental illness. I always talked about anxiety or depression, or, we can talk about PTSD, which is seeming to be more acceptable nowadays. But seriously, you have a bad week. Everything seems to go wrong, or you're up for a new job or something like that. You're anxious. Guess what? That is mental health. That's mental illness to a certain extent. If it goes on and on, certainly it needs some more attention. And most people can handle certain levels of mental illness. It's kind of like a cold. How many people need to go to the doctor for a cold?
Yeah.
But if it becomes pneumonia, you certainly better be there.
I was going to say, nobody gets through this life without pain and suffering, but it's how we deal with it, and connecting with people really helps too.
And knowing when to get to professional help.
Absolutely.
David, I just want to give you one final chance to plug the clinic and tell people when they can come by and get some of this free counseling.
So Bridge Counseling is the oldest behavioral health agency in Southern Nevada. It is also a national designee with a certified community behavioral health clinic, which puts us at a very top level in the state. And it's all throughout this week. We've got three times during the day: 10, noon, and 2 p.m. Monday through Friday, and that's at our 1640 Alta Drive location, right next to Metro's headquarters.
David, thank you so much for coming in, sharing such valuable information. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure. We're all in this community together.
Exactly. Josh Bell joining us in studio next.